our subject is, it's kind of a different subject, maybe something that you haven't thought about. So this was
Placement.
Yeah, this was your concoction of ideas. I thought this was really good, but it's relevant.
We just got an email from somebody and they're like, why is my plants dying? Like, what's happening? They sent a picture, and the only thing that I could really come up with was they're in the wrong place. And not so much like, okay, so it was a vegetable garden.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say, okay, it was in the full sun. Yes, but it was uptight against a building. And what happens with that?
There can be
big problems.
Reflection of that there's these little micro things that we need to think about. So we're gonna there's a lot of things that can go wrong. Okay.
Watering.
Yes.
Soil.
Yeah.
All the big things that we think
Bugs,
of when
chipmunks coming in or whatever. There can be
Yes.
stuff underneath that are chewing on roots. So we're gonna sort through, or we're gonna sift through. We're not talking about those things, but actually like placement. So that micro environment of where you put your flowers, or maybe your garden vegetables or something, things that can influence that maybe you didn't even think about. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. So, and we'll give a few examples. So this is flower placement and how it affects your flowers because
whether they're stretching, not blooming,
those
or
outside
just
influences.
getting burnt up.
Yeah. So the example of a reflective wall.
Yes.
That's one thing that you might not even think about. If you have a brick home and you're placing flowers. Now some flowers can handle that, but some cannot.
Well, I know, like, even on our back patio,
Mm-hmm.
right in by the house, like right by the siding,
Yeah.
it gets so intense. Like it's not just hot, it's like you could cook a pizza. Like, it's hot.
Especially if you're talking like a south side,
Right.
where it is getting blasted and that light is maybe
Now,
absorbing, and then, or the heat
If I
is
just pull it
reflecting.
away just a little bit, it's fine.
Yeah.
But when it's right up next to the building, you either need to be watering all the time, but it gets fried. It just gets fried.
So maybe those reflective areas, maybe a reflective siding, a brick that absorbs that heat and just cooks the plants, but also glass.
Yes.
There's reflective glass that we had an example in our town, the village hall. They put these nice, beautiful window boxes, great big window boxes, did the red, white, and blue flowers, and they had brand new windows put in, and it's like looking in a mirror. I mean, these had a reflective coating on them, and it would face south, so it was absolutely cooking those red, white, and blue petunias. Plus, they had an air conditioner that was blowing hot air right on those plants. So that immediate area where that air conditioner was, it was getting, 150 degrees blown on it all day long. And we have an area, we have a window air conditioner that blows on, there's some perennials there. And in the summer, it just cooks. And they're what?
You couldn't keep enough water on that.
No, they just, throughout the day, they're just, and then they'll come back in the morning. So it's something that happens, and so you want to think about it, and take note of what's immediately around. So what else could do it?
Well, let's not talk about the heat portion of it. Let's talk about the shade, because you have plants that you say, oh, well, they want full sun. Yes, they do, but they don't want to be like actually in an oven. Like, there's a difference between full sun and in an oven.
Yeah.
Pulled away from a building, or maybe you have a cement patio and then the garage is right there and you want something up next to it.
Sure.
Well, now they're getting double cooked on that way.
Yeah.
But let's go the opposite direction, and you say, well, I need a shade plant. Shade plants still need light.
Yeah.
And it might be filtered light.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you're going to stick them under a 10-foot porch and they do really well. If it's
like
really shaded.
Deep into the porch, and
Or
it
if you
gets
have,
no
like,
sunlight at all.
Total woods.
Yeah, trees.
And the trees are just, causing complete shade. you're gonna have a harder time. They're just not gonna bloom like they should. They might grow like the petunias if we have them under on our tiered benches. Sometimes we'll have them under on a second tier,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to see right where the light was and where it wasn't.
Yeah, they're not there for very long because it's just a temporary. But yeah, and I did a video on that, and just to show the difference of where it was getting light. It's a huge difference in the back of that flat.
And
got no light.
they grew taller and they're
like-
more spacey.
Yeah, it was like this.
No blooms.
Yeah,
And then the front
big
portion
difference.
was a little
Proves the
bit
point.
shorter and a lot more blooms.
Yeah. So there's a few other things. Windy areas. Maybe there's just kind of that natural wind tunnel.
Yes.
And it happens if you don't notice it. I mean, there you can have buildings that just get that wind to go through. In the greenhouses, I have to, on these aisles, as the greenhouses are full of hanging baskets and plants, right down this aisle, and these fans, you can probably hear a fan behind us that's pulling that air through and exhausting it out. There is a wind tunnel right down the middle here, and I know that all these hanging baskets I need to go through in the afternoon because there's just a natural where that wind is
Right.
going through, and it dries those plants down first. So
Yes.
so kind of be aware of those little micro things that might affect your plants and flowers or your garden.
So take away the natural, like the light, the wind, and let's go with the overhang of where the water drips.
yeah.
If it's raining and that water's not getting to your plant because you think that it rained and you're like, well, my plant got watered.
Yeah.
But if it's over an overhang, it's not getting watered. Or maybe it's right at that perfect level and it's just getting poured on.
Right, yeah, and it never has a chance to dry out.
Right.
And that circus of back and forth with it's going real dry, and then it rains or you have a storm, and then it's just sopping wet for the next week, and it doesn't dry down. And plants do not like that up and down, from one extreme to the next. They do not like that. So you want to try to get them in an area where they're not having that dry, wet. So an overhang or a downspout, maybe it's splashing on plants every time that even you get a sprinkle. So that's another thing to think about.
So think about all those little finer details, and they're not finer; they're big deals.
It's just taking a notice of what's around. This is where the dog walks through, and why don't my begonias, the dog is using that as their path. So yeah, just take notice of some of those little things that are affecting your plants that you don't think of. So a dryer vent. Every time you put the clothes in the dryer, and maybe you have some plants that are right outside there, and they're just
blasted.
getting cooked. You're like, everything else looks great, but right here I just can't put my finger on it, and there's a dryer vent right there or something.
You talk about in the greenhouse how hot it gets in here and how with proper care it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's consistent hot.
It's consistent.
Yeah.
It's consistent hot.
Yeah.
But it's also there's a lot of air movement. There's a lot of it's hot, but it's not that like cooking style.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you tend to get when you have it off of a building, is you have just like literally
channel.
like an oven.
Yeah. Well, think of
there's no
like an
airflow.
Yeah, think of like an air conditioner that's blowing that hot heat right on plants, and that's hard to.
Because
hard to
even with
overcome.
like our big fans that we have up in the front here, you don't put baskets right in front of those fans.
They dry
Even
it-
though
yeah, they dry
everybody's
right out.
getting the same amount of heat,
Yeah.
because of that airflow and because of how intense that heat is coming out of that heater, you tend to leave that whole area just empty.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or an inlet vent in the winter. Yeah, it gets warm in here. We got to cool it down, but it's pulling outside air, and that outside air is very cold.
Yes.
So yeah, I can't have plants close to that because
Right.
they'll freeze even though they might be in the greenhouse. So yeah, there's a lot of different little micro environmental things that can affect how your plants grow. So just little things to think about. I just had a customer in last night, and he has black walnut trees, and he's He's like, my garden just does
Nothing
not.
grows with that.
Yeah, the leaves they actually just poison. They poison the soil, and it basically tries to kill off everything around it so that the trees are resistant to it. Then the trees will grow. And he's like, I don't want to cut the trees down. They're nice, beautiful trees. But he's like, my garden, I just can't grow anything. So, yeah, a black walnut tree, might be a pretty tree, but not a good thing to have in your yard.
Well, you can have it in your yard, just don't have your garden by it. You
they're-
need to.
Yeah, it's just any of those leaves that get in, and they kind of breaks down in that soil, and
Right.
it's affecting his garden to the point where he's like, he used to have this huge garden, he can't do it anymore. So, yeah, so a lot of little things to think about, and just not to give you
Freak you
more,
out.
more to like, no, what's wrong, but there might be some little easy fixes that you can do.
Right.
So, all right. So, we want to talk a little bit about our Beat Your Neighbor Fertilizer and one of our new retailers, and that is Stokes Market in Preston, Idaho. So, great big place. Fantastic. We're happy to have them on board with our Beat Your Neighbor Fertilizer. So, if you are in the Preston, Idaho area, Stokes Market now carries Beat Your Neighbor Fertilizer.
Very excited for that.
Yeah, awesome.
There's lots of retailers across the United States. You just go on the beatyourneighbor.com, look at the locator map, and you can see them all kind of pop up. I did get a question from one of our retailers. They're like, do you keep it up to date? And the map is up to date for the year.
Yes.
So always call ahead if you're making a long trip, or they might be out of stock and they maybe are getting an order on their way.
There's seasonal greenhouses
Right.
that are open.
But we do keep the map up to date for the year. So we go through and we take off anybody who hasn't ordered in the past few months. So
Yeah. So you can find all of that information and more info at the beatyourneighbor.com website. A lot of blog articles. If anything that you want to know about, hey, is Beat Your Neighbor Fertilizer good for this, or this? That info is all at the beatyourneighbor.com website. Plus lots of videos there.
Excellent.
Lots of things to see.
perfect.
All right.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Thanks.